who may be in this room. We believe you are hiding in plain sight.
Keep your babies close to you. There's someone out there.
What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris, and today's missing person case is Don. Also, today's person of interest is Olivia. Today's missing person case is today's missing person case is Courtney.
What's going on there, ma'am? We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please.
What's up, Mob Crew? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. I cover murder, mystery to the paranormal. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. If you guys can hear me, could you put a 1 in the chat? Make sure everything's working good real quick. Today we're going to be talking about the Idaho students. I was just looking into some footage and some old photos that kind of came out during that first week, and notice that one of the neighbors looks like they have a bulb that's a security camera that I didn't notice before. So we'll talk about that. I've always kind of had a feeling that there was another source to this Hyundai Elantra, and we'll kind of talk about that here in a minute. Thank you guys so much for putting a 1 in the chat. I'm going to shout a few people out. What's up, D-Dez? What's up, Christoph Fan Always? Hope I said that right. What's up, Laura? What's up, Sweet Dreams? Sweet Dreams, I'm not sure if you email me. If you haven't, please email me if you want that free gift. I think I went through my email. I might need to check my spam. But if you haven't emailed me, and if you'd like that gift, I would love to send that out to you. So just put Sweet Dreams in the subject so I can see your email. Hope everyone's doing well. Before we get started, though, we always like to feature the missing to give back. So today we have Gina Ludlam. She was last seen on 2000 block and 4th Street of Sarasota, that is Florida, on December 5th. So that's about 2-3 weeks ago. Last seen around 9 a.m. Miss Ludlam is not considered endangered, but it's not like her to go this long without any contact with her family. She is just 5 foot, brown hair, hazel eyes, was last seen wearing black pants and blue sweatshirt. If you have any information, please call 911 or the police department at 941-263-6773. That's Gina Ludlam, just 43 years old, missing out of Sarasota, Florida. So there's that. And just make sure my chat's all good. Everybody can hear me. Awesome. All right. So we'll probably go maybe hour and a half. I'm not going to have it too long of a show. Maybe have another show late tonight, but figure if I had time to do a show, it'd be earlier than later. So let's get into this. There has been some new footage that's come out. It's basically body cam footage. A lot of people are like requesting or doing FOIA requests for body cam footage of. I've seen some for the noise complaints, which is interesting. Some of these are from like a year ago, but there's definitely I want to say a lot, but there was some complaints with this house. People complained about parties and stuff like that. But it is college. I'm sure it happens all the time. But it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and play one of just a short clip, and I have to shout out to Plunder, that YouTube channel. She does amazing work, and she seems to get a lot of this body cam footage. I think she's the one that got the body cam footage of the officers with them, giving the citation to the underage kids. So a big shout out to her. And so we'll go ahead and get started here.
5 p.m. last night.
That's just a little loud. So I'm just going to play. I'm not playing the whole thing. I'm just going to play just a little bit to kind of give a context. Now, this is not in regards to a noise complaint. This is actually a lady that's on, King Street. And she had came out, I think her roommate came out and noticed that there was a suitcase laying behind her car. And so she got a roommate up, which is this girl here. And she's the owner of the car. And her, because she had a briefcase or a suitcase or something like that sitting out in the road, I guess somebody had broken into her car and was going to try to either steal the car or her contents. But luckily they didn't take the car, but it kind of freaked her out. So we're going to watch just a little bit of this, and then there's something interesting that they talk about at the end.
And did you lock your car?
No.
Okay.
But I came back out here about 9 because my TV was in here and my pillows. Except that I don't know. I heard someone talking over there. It was really weird, and then I just grabbed it and went back to
Yeah, because this is kind of a bowl right here. People could be up in their backyards talking, and
it freaks me out.
So 9 o'clock is when you last saw normal condition, and your TV wasn't stolen.
No, because I grabbed it and I brought it inside. And
Okay.
My pillows. The only thing in here was my suitcase.
Where was your suitcase originally at?
Right here.
So it was in the back.
It was right here, and this stuff was already in here.
Okay.
And they didn't touch it, but it was right here, and so someone took everything from up there, put it in the suitcase, and then left it outside.
Yeah, that's definitely odd. It's odd because your fuse box is open.
Yeah.
However, I'm not trying to scare you or anything, but maybe they were trying to steal your car.
That's what we were thinking.
So we have had.
So just to give a little context of where they're at real quick, let me go ahead and pull up. So it looks like they're in this little, it sucks because this, I guess Google has not gone down all the way on King Street. So the last photo, notice what a big difference this looks, because this is October 2007. So clearly the last time Google drove by, they didn't go all the way down because there's a huge difference. All the trees are gone. But they're basically, it looks like they're at this home here. And so we'll keep playing just a little bit more. I forget the date because it's blurred out, but I think it either happened earlier this year or late last year.
Stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So when your roommate came out here and found your suitcase in the road, was the hatch opened up?
I don't think so. I didn't ask her.
Okay.
I can't call her. She's inside.
Or if the doors were open. I mean.
Call Kaylee.
Okay. And then, did they say what time that was?
Yeah. Hey, a few questions. When you grabbed my suitcase, did you see were any of the doors open, the hatch or anything?
No, just the suitcase was sitting outside of it.
And what time was that?
I say around 9:30.
Okay, so I'm going to skip it forward here to the part where I thought I kind of edited it a little bit shorter. But they talk about something interesting. I hope I put it in here.
We'll document everything. Like I said, there's kind of been an uptick recently in we've had a couple vehicles stolen. We've had people's cars.
Okay, so all right. The date is, so this was March 2nd. So this is well over a year ago. But it's what they talk about at the end here.
Getting broken into. Of recommendation always is lock it. Yeah. So
they're crimes of opportunity. More often than not, sometimes, very rarely do they break windows and actually break in. More often than not, they pull door handles until they find one that's unlocked.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's probably what they did.
Maybe I edited it wrong. Anyway,
Was
so
tampered with.
not a big deal. But anyway, so in this video, because I want to play, because like I said, it's Plunder's video. But shout out to her. But anyway, there's a part in this video where he literally asks, one of the officer asks her, do you have any surveillance or a door cam? And she says, no, but I just ordered one. So I thought that was kind of interesting that she just said that she's got a camera on the way. So then I'm sure, a lot of people with that happening, probably a lot of these, there's a good chance that these other people have probably heard about these break-ins and might have done the same thing.
What cars are supposed to look like. So
Okay.
And sure enough, so this house here, so that incident happened at this house, but what we're going to focus on, unfortunately it's blurred, but I do have a picture and I'll show you guys here. But there's a photograph of the officer talking to the neighbor, which is the neighbor next door to the victim's home. And you'll see that she has actually got one of those cameras. It's like a bulb that you screw into into one of these light sources here. It's kind of cool. And the one that she has is actually like a panorama 360, I think, camera, which is really cool. And it's clearly right here. It sucks that this is blurred out now. But what's interesting is it's kind of facing, and we'll look at the picture, but it's kind of facing at an angle. So clearly it's kind of covering, I would assume, this kind of area here. So any car that's coming down would most likely be captured on the camera as long as it's recording. So keep that in mind, because the thing that always kind of bugged me is that we know that this Hyundai Elantra that they're looking for, December 16th, they come out with this document saying that the guy that owns the rental building on Linda Lane, he has a surveillance camera that's looking towards Taylor Avenue. And he says that they came on November 14th and picked up the surveillance footage. They were interested between 2 a.m. and noon. And then it goes on to say that when he was looking at it, he saw that there was a car that was captured between 2:45 and 3:15. And so, as you guys, if you followed my channel, we went back and looked at all of the surveillance footage from the body cam of the officers that are out there that night from 2:55 to 3:16. And there's actually 4 vehicles that actually go by, 2 heading west and 2 heading east. And I even, time stamped them and everything. So we'll kind of look at that. And I'll kind of give you guys where I'm going with this here. So here's the one car that's clearly white. Still don't know what kind of car it is. And then we have the black truck that heads west at 3 a.m. Then we have another car that's at 3:12 heading west. Some people are thinking that's an SUV. I'm still trying to get some footage that doesn't have this blur in it, so I can kind of get a better idea of what kind of vehicle this is. I would love to know. And then there's one more car that's captured at 3:14 heading east. And this looks like a blue, maybe a Prius. It's definitely kind of got like a hatchback. You can kind of see the brakes to the light ratio. So anyway, my argument is if they only had this one source on Linda Lane here, keep playing it. And I would understand if in that body cam footage, they with the officers, if there was just one car that went by that between that 20-minute time frame. But the fact that you see that there's at least 4 cars that go by within that 20 minutes makes me wonder how they let me back this up again. I went a little fast. So my argument is how did they know that this particular car just didn't go down Taylor Ave and just go past King Road and go on to Walenta Drive? especially, I'd understand if there was just that one car that drives by in that time frame. But it seems like, I wouldn't say it's a busy road, but clearly you have more cars than just the one car driving by. So it's like, um, how do they know that it didn't just go past King Road and won't let you drive? It seems like they put a lot of stock on that. This is a Hyundai Elantra. This is the car that, either they saw something or is, the suspects. And so I'm like, okay, there's got to be another camera somewhere that captured, and they know that this car went, towards King Road here. And so then I went back and was looking at old photos and stuff. And there's a photo that's going to come up here in a minute. But I'm just kind of showing on the graph that like all the cars that were captured. So we have the white car at 2:58. We have the truck at 3 o'clock. Then we have another car heading at 3:12, heading west. And then one more at 3:14 heading east again. So, I mean, it's quite a few cars for, during that time. And so it just kind of bugged me that, they're so sure with this Hyundai Elantra and that it turned down King Road. I'm like, there's got to be some other kind of surveillance. And so I'll show you guys what I think is probably the source, or a secondary source, I should say. So here's the time frame. The guy says that the car is seen. And this is a picture of the home that's now kind of blurred out. And maybe this is why they blurred it out. So I'm not sure the date, but this is clearly the first week that this happened. And I mean, they still even have their Halloween stuff up here. And these poor people are probably just literally hearing about it. But what's interesting is what we have right here. This is our focus, and that is the security camera. And I'll show you what kind of camera that is, but it's panoramic, and it's from what I understand, it can do 360. Some of them can. I think there's different models. Not sure exactly what model this is, but it's a really good camera. And it's interesting that it's kind of pointing at an angle almost right at the kind of where the right here. So here's the house. I was able to go back and find some footage that before Google blurred the home, but this is where it was taken from, and I'll kind of show you guys where the camera's at. So the camera is clearly kind of focused on this intersection. That's the word I'm looking for. And so hopefully you guys can see that okay. So here's the camera up here in that picture, and this is the home that this officer's at. So we can see that this is clearly, they have a camera right here, which is great. I mean, it's awesome. So now the question is, did this car, if this was the camera that captured the car, you would think it would probably be able to not only see the side of it, but the front and maybe even the back, depending on, if there was something blocking it. I mean, the cars could have been blocking the license plate, or they just didn't have a license plate on it, or at least on the front. But here's what it kind of looks like, and it's pretty cool. I guess you can screw it, just kind of screw it into a light. And
I'm gonna do this.
So I think that is probably the secondary or primary source of this white Hyundai Elantra. That would be my suggestion. Just knowing that how many cars had driven by between that 20-minute time frame, and for them to know that this car drove into King Road and not just drive past and go on to Walnut Drive. So I think this would definitely be a good possibility that this was the source here. Makes me wonder what else that they may have on this security footage. So I'm going to go ahead and catch up on the chat here. Apple Pips, thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for the $20 euro. You are so awesome. Happy holidays to you and to everybody. been a member for 8 months. Gosh, that's crazy. I remember when you first joined. Man, 8 months. It goes by so fast. Thank you so much for being a member and supporting this channel. It helps out so much. We've got some big things coming once kind of early spring, once winter passes by. We're going to get back out on the road. And we're going to be working with Steve from True Crime Web. And so for those that are kind of new to the channel, not only do we cover true crime, but we're going to try to go out and actually, help some of these cold cases.
I'm gonna do this.
So we'll come back to the camera. There's some other things I wanted to talk about. I did, yes. Yeah, that's the thing is there's so many white cars everywhere. I've been trying to stay away from that as much as far as like going down like Google Earth or finding pictures because you never know. But yeah, it is interesting that there was that car that's sitting in front of the house there. So here's something else that I went back and looked at and noticed. And I know this isn't big, but I always like to add context to stuff. And so if most of you guys have seen this grub truck video, and there's a little altercation at the end where, Maddie points and she says, F you. And I thought I'd figured it out. And I thought, I'm still 100% or 99% sure that she's pointing to Tan Hat Guy and she's the one that's telling him to F off. But I think I figured out exactly why she said that and why she said we'd never. And so if we go back and remember kind of what Joe said, which is the Tan Hat Guy right here, he kind of said that Maddie's just kind of hanging by where they hand out the food. And I don't want to misquote him, but he says it's like every time people get the food, sometimes he thought that she was like trying to take other people's food. I'm not sure exactly how he worded it, but as you can see, she is just kind of hanging out where they, when they're done with the food, they, hand it out. She's just kind of hanging out waiting. And so, and then with him saying that quote of, about the food and her hanging out there, I kind of think now, and I'm just going to go ahead and play this, but you'll see she just kind of, Maddie hanging out by the window where you
people have
get
fallen.
your food.
People have fallen over reduced for you. Sorry, I'm talking to Twitch stream. Oh, you're so good. Absolutely, thank you.
Down just a little bit.
How are you doing? Pretty good. How about yourself? I'm doing extremely well. What sounds good?
Did notice this guy actually taps her on the shoulder. Probably nothing huge, but I never really noticed this guy before. But
and then you said a Mountain Dew. Yes, please. Excellent. Big rear.
Anyway, so Maddie just kind of hangs out there. And then we just kind of fast forward, but she never leaves that little window area where they hand out the food. And so go a little bit more here. Still just hanging out by the window here. And so I always kind of thought maybe they were having the conversation about how she bumped into him and, when she points at him and says, F you. But now I think, okay, here it comes. And it's just my opinion. So, here he puts his hand out. I think maybe he's actually saying, oh, well, he's trying to grab the food and stuff. And then that's when she would say, we'd never, F you. And so she's kind of maybe responding to, like stealing food or whatever.
That was a solid rush. It's a good thing that it ended, but...
So anyway, just my 2 cents on that. But I definitely think whatever, she's definitely addressing the Tan Hat Guy. But I just noticed that, she does hang out by that window. I know there's nothing huge, but I always like to understand the context of things. And I think that's probably going back and remembering that he talked about like that she's kind of hanging out by the window and would try to accidentally grab their food, thinking it was hers or something like that. So anyway, I just wanted to put a little context to that. So we'll move on. Yeah, Tan Hat Guy, he actually, like I said, he puts his hand out, like, and I kind of think maybe he's like telling Hoodie Guy, like, oh, she's trying to grab all the food and then, or steal the food or whatever. And that's why she's like, we never, F you. So anyway.
This is Friday and Saturday in a row. They got you down around 1, so I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot, guys.
Security camera companies charge you for storing video on their cloud. Ooh, I'm not sure.
Tebow's thinking to himself, if I start slowing down on Mac, maybe I'll get to sit down. He's gonna try to sabotage me.
I guess it depends on which kind of company you have. Because we store ours, but the machine just has, well, it's not a cloud, so we do have the possibility of a cloud. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do charge something like that.
I actually was wondering if I was going to slow.
Okay, so moving on. The next thing I wanted to talk about. And of course, now we learned about the driver that picked these girls up. A little bit further. And I did a video on it. And basically, he said, so this is the driver that picks up, Maddie and Kaylee. And he said he picked them up about 1:40, 1:45. So that means they probably got home around 1:50-ish, just before 2 a.m. He said during the ride that there was nothing out of the ordinary. I guess this guy has given them rides before. He said that they weren't talking about any particular person. We know that there was some surveillance footage just after the corner club, between the grub truck and the corner club. And they're talking about Adam, which I believe is like the bartender or something. But they say he's cleared and everything. But he said during the ride home, giving the girls a ride back to the home, there was nothing out of the ordinary. They weren't talking about any specific person or any. They didn't seem upset. They were just kind of excited with their food, and so. And then unfortunately, this poor guy, he feels really bad because he he feels like he needs to get them home safe, which understandably, they did get home safe. Unfortunately, someone broke in. Who knows? Minutes later or half hour later, whatever. But yeah, it's terrible. He definitely feels terrible, and I'd feel bad because he's kind of one of the last people to had seen them.
Over how the killer was able to get away unnoticed. A former student who graduated in 2020.
So here's I'll go ahead and play this. This is something that came out yesterday, I think. And this is a guy that lived in this home previous to the victims, I think maybe last year or something like this. So here's what he had to say about the home.
22 and lived at the same house during his junior year, talks about his experience there.
It's definitely an old creaky house. You can't walk up any of the stairs or on any of the floors without everybody in the house knowing it.
Cole Alternator says the building doesn't offer much privacy and was well known to students.
A lot of students are very familiar with the inside of the home around the community. There have been thousands of people that have likely been through it throughout the years. Even when we had it, there were people that would come and knock on the door or walk in thinking that it was somebody else.
Okay. So it's just a short little clip, but that's interesting. Like, I guess, there's also been a lot of other footage that's come out. Same type of thing, body cam footage, which I kind of talked about earlier in the show, that it's noise complaints. And so a lot of people have been getting FOIA requests from those noise complaints. And yeah, you do see people that'll answer the door that don't even live there. And so basically what that guy was saying is that there's a lot of people that know the layout of that home because, parties and other things like that. So definitely this killer probably has been in the home before. But it's interesting that he says that this house is creaky and that you could hear everything. So moving on, there's also kind of an argument which, who was attacked first, which, we have Kaylee and Maddie on the 3rd floor and we have Ethan and Xana on the 2nd floor. And I kind of went back to this interview. I think this interview is really interesting because of what the father says. And so I'm going to play it and then we'll kind of see what you guys think about it. Kind of curious.
Their means of death don't match. Maddie's
They don't.
and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
They don't match.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to
may
go
have
up
been
the
target.
steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an alpha. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to go up the steps. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just gonna say it. It wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that.
So he didn't have to go up the steps. So curious what you guys think about that. That would kind of suggest, depending on the context of how he's saying it, but it makes me wonder, did the killer or killers actually go after Ethan and Xana first, and then they were last, and that's why he says he didn't have to go up them steps. And so it could have been they were all targeted. We know that sadly his daughter received the worst of the wounds. But I think that's interesting that he says that they did not have to go up them steps.
Funeral. I paid for that. It's my right.
And so here's just kind of a look at the floor plan. But it just makes me wonder if they knew the house, they knew the victims and everything. And that they knew that Ethan was going to be there, and maybe that he would probably put up a fight, and so maybe they went after Ethan and Xana first, and then Kaylee and Maddie were second. Kind of curious to see what you guys think, but oh yeah, totally. I feel for the dad too. I mean, that is terrible. Especially, I mean, just before the holidays. This was just before Thanksgiving. Absolutely. JG says Kaylee was the target. Ethan probably met him in the hall and was fought back to his room where Xana was killed, my guess. Yeah, I definitely think there's definitely a possibility that one of those woke up, but yes, was probably forced back into the room. Just because of when they made the statement about the 911 call, they said that there was somebody passed out on the second floor, and knowing the layout of the house, the second floor is basically the living room, the kitchen. That's like the main floor. As a matter of fact, I can't remember what year it was, but they actually didn't have any bedrooms on the second floor. This house has kind of been altered. It used to have a garage, and I think maybe it was a 4-bedroom home at one point, but then they added in the extra bedrooms. But so yeah, clearly, they would, get up in the morning, the 2 surviving roommates go up to a kitchen, get something, and notice that, hey, it's, whatever time they got up, and notice, okay, Ethan and Xana are, I would assume, I'm just guessing, but, the door's shut and they're not responding. But we don't know 100%. But hi, Chris, chat. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, it is weird, especially now knowing that this house is creaky. You could hear everything. Surprised that the 2 surviving roommates didn't hear anything. Just looking at the chat. I do have a camera like the neighbors. Mine is not real. It's a pretending camera that lights a red thing inside and goes with batteries AA. Oh, interesting. Hey, anything to deter them. Oh, we got true crime. His instinct and analysis is correct. He didn't have to unless targeted. Yeah. And I just think it's kind of interesting. He didn't have to go up the stairs. So, I mean, you could take that as, that he means that as that they were targeted. or two things that, hey, Ethan and Xana were killed first and they still went upstairs. And maybe they were the target all along, but like I said, they wanted to take care of the male because they knew that Ethan was going to be in the house. And so they wanted to take out the biggest threat first. Okay, let's see what else was I going to show. Where is it? So just in case if you guys didn't know I'm sure you guys know the floor plan, but I thought this video was kind of
The attack was a target on the house or the students. Kaylee's father believes the killer did target his daughter and her friends coming in through the second floor sliding glass door. Now, either way, the families are demanding answers. But as of now, this whole thing remains a mystery. Dr. Casey, let me get some details here and start by looking at the bedrooms where these victims were found. It's very likely that they came in the sliding door. And that's the one that you can walk up to, right? You can just walk up on the grass.
So the back of the house is ground floor, is the second floor. And there's two possible points of entry there. There's a slider and a window, and there's a cinder block under a window, which are very close, and they're going into the kitchen.
Okay.
Now, Xana and her boyfriend, Ethan, were on the second floor there.
This is the patio ground access where someone could walk up.
Yeah.
And this is a sliding door.
And there's
then
a window near there, too.
And there was a window near there as well. And who was on this floor and in which bedroom?
So that was Xana and Ethan, and they were a couple, and I believe they were bedroom D.
So a little context, because there's been so much of that body cam footage of different noise complaints. And there was actually a shot where you could see on the first floor where Dylan's bedroom was vacant, had like some golf clubs in it. And I think she was in bedroom C, so she was actually on the second floor, but I believe then moved down to the first floor. I don't know, maybe because it's a bigger bedroom. Not sure the context about that, but apparently Dylan, one of the surviving roommates, did live on the second floor and then went down to the first floor. Maybe because it's quieter. I mean, if you think about it, you've got I'm just thinking about it. You've got the living room right here. And so it would kind of suck to be having a bedroom here, especially if people are up late watching TV in the living room or whatever. This would probably be like the worst bedroom to have because, you've got people going to the kitchen, living room. So it would make sense to probably go down to the first floor. If I get a chance, I'll show you guys the picture of the first floor, but you can see that it's pretty much empty. It's got just a couple of things in it, but and this was kind of in response to a noise complaint.
Maddie and Kaylee were on the third floor. They were in which bedroom?
So they were in bedroom E, which was Maddie's bedroom.
Okay, they were over
Kaylee's
here.
bedroom was bedroom F, but Kaylee had moved out because she was graduating in December. So she was just back visiting for the weekend, had brought her dog with her, and her best friend from growing up was her roommate, Maddie. So they were sleeping in the same bed in room E, Maddie's room.
Then the third couple was in the basement on the first floor.
Mm-hmm. The roommates. Yeah, the two roommates. And so there were two empty bedrooms in the house.
Okay. The whole point is these guys say they didn't hear anything. This is a Rambo knife.
Right.
And so this is something that you see in video games.
Okay. All right. Okay, let me go back to, now we got a lot more people in here, and I'll go over what I showed at the beginning, because I think there is a second source to this car. Shannon, thank you so much for the $5. Be nimble, be quick. Thank you so much for the $5. And for those that are just tuning in, happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to go for another 20 minutes here. I'm going to kind of recap what I was talked about in the beginning, but I always kind of felt like there was another source to this.
5 p.m. last night.
Another source to this White Hyundai Elantra, And it all starts kind of with this incident that happened last year where this poor girl had her car broken into. And shout out to Plunder, who's been getting a lot of the FOIA requests for these body cam footage, which has really added a lot of context to kind of what goes on in the neighborhood and stuff. And clearly, the two biggest things, or the biggest thing, is noise complaints happen, and not only at just the victim's home, but in this area. It's college, it's around the college, so it makes sense. People are partying. But what's interesting is in this video, the officer asks, "Hey, do you got a door cam?" And she says, "No, but I just ordered one." So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, she lives a little bit further up the street, but I went back and I noticed that there was this picture right here. And this goes to the house that's right next to the victim's home. And as we can see, there is a camera. And those cameras they've got kind of different kinds of them, but here's kind of a look at one of them. But they're 360 panoramic Wi-Fi cameras. They're pretty good. I mean, there's different models. I'm not sure exactly which model they have, but anyway, just kind of the argument was knowing that that they do have footage of this car that's going by past Linda Lane. The only thing I would say is, how did they know that this car, because there's like 4 cars that drive by, how did they know that this car just didn't go past King Road and go up to Walenta Drive? And so I'm like, they've had to have a secondary source to know that this car drove up King Road. And then so, like I said, going back to looking at all the footage from news reports and stuff, there was that picture of the officer who's literally right at this neighbor's home, and it's blurred out now. And I wonder if that's maybe why they blurred it out. I understand maybe blurring out the home and of the victims, but the fact that they blurred this house out is really interesting. And the way that it looks like the camera's set up. Kind of skip forward. So here's a close-up of the camera. And kind of where the picture's being taken is, it almost looks like the camera is looking almost straight at the way this person that took the picture, which I'm assuming they're standing in the road, which is right at that intersection. So I think if that camera's pretty much been in that same position, and I'm assuming this was maybe a day or two after the crime had happened, and I'm sure maybe not only is he going to ask the neighbors questions, but I'm sure the second he walked up and noticed this, he's probably asking them, "Hey, you guys got any surveillance?" So my opinion and guess would be that that they saw the White Hyundai Elantra not only from Linda Lane, but right here on Queen Road. And so here's the camera, and that's unfortunately I can't show it on Google Map anymore because it's blurred out, which is suspicious. I think they might have done that on purpose. But so I think that's where the camera. So let's just kind of look at it one more time. But
people have fallen over it.
So I just wanted to show you guys that because that was something that kind of bugged me. I'm like, they've got to have something else on when it comes to surveillance, and that would totally make sense. I wish we could see it, but if we kind of go up here, this house is right here, and it would just be pointing right here. So I think it's a good possibility that this is how they know that car turned up Queen Road, and they know for sure it's a White Hyundai Elantra. Let's see here. Hey, Tom, man, Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope everyone is having a beautiful Christmas Eve. Yeah, thank you so much. Same to you. Thank you so much for the $50, buddy. Rich Buddy says the roommates clearly said they heard noises and even got up and locked the door. Ooh. Is that what they said? Interesting. CNN interview. Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Rich Buddy. I might have missed that. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stuff that comes out, especially in the beginning. Definitely have to check that out. Thank you so much, A, for the $20. $20 super sticker. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. It is a good spot for a camera, and I think definitely this is the context of the White Hyundai Elantra. What's the service? The Uber driver said he was never even contacted for video. Interesting. Now, oh, that's true. He said he did come forward though, so maybe that's because he said once he found out, because he heard the news about the girls, but didn't know 100% that was the actual girls that he gave a ride home, and then I think he then soon realized that it was the house that he dropped them off to, and then I think he went and talked to the police, but he said he that they didn't mention anything, no persons of interest that that they were scared of. He said it was a typical ride home, and nothing that raised any red flags. So yeah, FOIA requests. So yeah, that's how a lot of these channels have been getting the body cam footage, and from these noise complaints from FOIA requests, which it's great because it gives us context of what's going on, and now we kind of know that. I mean, this was kind of a party house, and there was a lot of people that just kind of came in and out, and kind of going back to that. We'll play that one more time for those that might have missed it.
5 p.m. last night.
Sorry, that's so loud. Okay, so this is for those that missed it, this is just a guy that used to live there, not sure which year, but lived there prior to the victims.
Killer was able to get away unnoticed. A former student who graduated in 2022 and lived at the same house during his junior year talks about his experience there.
It's definitely an old, creaky house. You can't walk up any of the stairs or on any of the floors without everybody in the house knowing it.
Cole Alternator says the building doesn't offer much privacy and was well known to students.
A lot of students are very familiar with the inside of the home around the community. There have been thousands of people that have likely been through it throughout the years. Even when we had it, there were people that would come and knock on the door or walk in thinking that it was somebody else.
So anyway, so yeah, that was a guy that previously lived there, and he said, yeah, people would just come in because, it's college, and they partied there a lot. And unfortunately, I didn't have time to get the body cam footage. There's a couple of them because, like I said, there was a lot of incidences that they had to show up because of a noise complaint, and you would just see these kind of random guys that would answer the door that don't even live there, and then there was another one where there was like 2 incidences at the same time, I think. And it makes me kind of wonder if there's maybe some bad blood between like noise complaints being called on each other and stuff like that. I mean, it seems kind of stupid, but I mean, people do crazy things. Just wonder if that would be a motive. Somebody is just so mad at them for these noise complaints and stuff like that, or there was kind of like a neighbor rivalry, a neighbor. I can't say it, but a rival. I can't even say the word, but a dispute between the neighbors. But anyway. Oh, thank you so much, Elise. Merry Christmas, Chris and Mob Crew. Merry Christmas to you, Elise. And so, anyway, I think we're going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit more context to that White Hyundai Elantra, and I think there's definitely a second source besides that Taylor Ave. Let's see, do I have it in here? No, it's not that one. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find it here. I've got so many folders now with all this stuff in here. Maybe it isn't.
If the attack was a target.
Let's see if I can find it here. No, it's not in that one. But this is a Brian Enton, just kind of giving an idea of what it looked like to drive away from the scene.
And different vibe in the middle of the night. So come down this way. This is a little alleyway in front of the house. You can see there's houses on both sides, apartment buildings. Scoop between these two cars here. These are reporters. Turn out here.
Now keep in mind there was no snow on the ground like this when it happened.
Most of these are students that live in this area. That's the Sigma Chi house right in front of us, Ashley. And then this is Taylor Ave. So we turn on Taylor Ave here, Sigma Chi house, Band Field, which we've talked about, where that body camera video came with the kids who were drinking. That's Band Field on the left. On the right, look at all these apartment buildings. Ton of apartment buildings on the right. Remember, there's one building where we found out they gave up video. They had a camera that was pointing down towards Taylor Ave.
Right here. So this is where apparently the camera that captured the car looking the other way. But like I said, my argument to that would be, how would they know that car didn't just go down while Lenta drive? So it is kind of interesting to see kind of the neighborhood.
More townhouses, the university.
But I think it's a good possibility that this guy probably either suspect or suspects after they committed this crime, probably it's a good chance they came out of Lenta Drive instead of going back up Taylor Ave, because Taylor Ave's going to take you right basically to the main highway where there's all these cameras. But if you went down Lenta Drive, you could kind of sneak out the back, probably go down Sand Drive. But that's just purely speculation. But I'm sorry I don't talk more about persons of interest. If you guys didn't know that there's this TikToker that's being sued because they're completely convinced that this Idaho professor had something to do with the murders, and so they're actually getting slammed with a lawsuit. And it's crazy, even though they got served papers, this Ashley is still making videos about this professor, and I guess she's like kind of like a tarot card reader. And anyway, is just accusing this female professor that she has some, I think her name's Rebecca or something like that, has something to do with the murders. And then of course we have had, another YouTuber that made up some fake evidence and stuff like that, and so he got in trouble. And so I've been really kind of hesitant to really talk about any kind of persons of interest, just because there's only going to be maybe one or two killers, and then so all these people that are getting kind of brought to the light, their lives are kind of getting torn apart. And I just really don't want to be a part of that. And try to do, what I do responsibly. So, yeah, I mean, it's one thing to talk about, once they have like a suspect or somebody, then, it's, I don't know, just when you have a following, you need to be responsible. And so, yeah, that TikToker, I can't believe it. Like, even after getting served papers, they continue on. So, so anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and head out. I'm going to go ahead and play the outro. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That TikToker also made a video about my friend. Oh, my friend Jack and his family doxed them. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I try not to really try to stay away from all that stuff. Yeah, that's terrible. That's why I try to look at like surveillance and stuff like that. I just can't believe that. That sucks. That's just more families getting their lives torn apart, Thank you so much. Great work on the cameras, Chris. Yeah, I can't take all the credit, but thank you. That's kind of just something I've been looking into. And we try to stick with facts. I mean, we speculate some, but let's just hope the families get some answers soon. I'm going to go ahead and end this poll, but 41% think this will be solved soon. 35% says sadly no. 24% says not sure. Let's hope they do get some answers soon. I mean, they have the car, and I don't know. I think it's got to be somebody close that's been in the house, and that's probably why they're having so much trouble, is that, maybe this person's got a decent alibi because he's been in the house, or and so it's going to be really hard when it comes down to the DNA. So I think it'll probably come down to the digital forensic evidence, which is, the phones and where they were pinging and stuff like that. So, yes, Merry Christmas to everybody. So just real quick, we'll have some stuff coming up the end of the year, just kind of a look back at everything we did this year. And then we'll also talk about what me and Steve are going to be doing for the future. Like I said, we're not just covering true crime, but we're going to go out and try to help some of these cases as well. And yeah, just super excited. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this show. I couldn't do what I do without you guys' support. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and play the outro. Thank you, Mods. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Copper Horse. D-Dez, thank you so much for filling in. Thank you to all the members and your support, and to everybody that donated. You guys are amazing. And just make sure everything's good. Okay. So we'll see you guys. Either I might try to do a special live tonight. If not, I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. If not, just after Christmas. So be safe. Love you guys. See you guys soon.